Alright, we got ourselves a cannon. We gotta open this bad boy up. Let's see if we can speed race this mother... Yeah! Oh. So, we lost the speed race, and that wasn't guiding light. Well, son of a bitch! So, I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second, but first and foremost, let's go ahead and look at the next fight right here. So, hey, look, Ocean Breeze, Luluca, Apocalypse Ravi, and Navy Captain Landy. Well, how about we go ahead and bring in our shiny new toy, Elvira?
Let me savor it.
Ah, that's a sick-ass S3, isn't it? Now, it's really just a shame that the current problem with Elvira is the fact that she gives herself 3 turns of immortality, and when she has immortality, any enemy on the other side can no longer obtain fighting spirit. So, you see the Landy going kind of absolutely batshit fucking crazy and not gaining any fighting spirit whatsoever. And then also, the Apocalypse Ravi is not obtaining any fighting spirit. It's staying pretty much right there, and every time you hit her, she'll do a little bit of a heal on herself and lose some fighting spirit every single time. So, with Elvira on the field, you're not going to be really stall-locked out of an Apocalypse Ravi fight. So, first and foremost, I do actually want to take into account a small mistake that happened early on in this fight. Yeah, we have Doris with us, pretty much strictly just to tank the Ravi. But the mistake that happened was I was attempting to go into the Navy Captain with an attack from Doris. She happened to land a miss on her, and then because she had blind from the attack from Doris, that attack goes into Martial Artist Ken, and he straight up wasn't allowed to do his fucking thing. So, don't do stupid shit like moi. So basically, all I had to do was use S3 or S2, and then maintain my S3 for any time like Luluca actually goes in and does dumb shit. Because now that I have the S3 here, I could use it if I was smart, but I'm not smart. So I'm going to be dealing with some blind occasionally on Martial Artist Ken. Like, that's pretty much the only thing that I really have to critique about my former, like, performance here, because my Martial Artist Ken sucks ass. I don't have a lot of F-res on him. But either way, we have Elvira on our field. They're not going to be gaining any fighting spirit, and the Apocalypse Ravi is no longer able to heal, and she's no longer able to push herself up on the CR bar. The only time you see her push up is anytime Ocean Breeze Luluca attacks with an S1. We got it? Okay, cool. We're eventually going to win. So, for that first fight, that I'm looking back at the footage now, and I'm kind of fucking pissed as I look at it, because the information, we received no info about that. It's like, I just looked at it, it's like, oh, so that's a Landy. This is going to be a speed race, because I don't know about you, but if I'm going into like a standard format and I'm fighting a Landy, I never, ever, ever want to actually fight standard, like fight a Landy, green Landy with standard. The reason why I don't want to do that is because the actual straight-up power that bitch has is insane. And the longer a fight goes on, the more and more damage that she's really going to deal. So, really, if I'd known that she wasn't on Guiding Light, instead of just doing typical speed shit, I would have brought, Zio. And then Zio would have just straight up gone into her, hit her, and then we pretty much would have been fine, and I would have used an entirely different team. But you know what? It's already been a few days afterwards. I'm not really going to let it affect me. It's just the fact that, like, I couldn't think of anything in particular to really go in and actually fight that Landy with. Because, like, Landy is just a unit that I don't want to fuck around with. Because anytime I do actually fuck with Landy, and I, like, don't have a definite plan to go in and kill her, I'm more than likely going to die. It's happened numerous times. Especially even with units that I would think would work, like, say, Last Rider Krau, because of all the AoE abuse should be taken. You're going to be taking a lot of fucking abuse and probably going to be dying because of it. Oh, hey, look, we're finally done with this first match. Yay, ignore the first one. So now, speaking of Zio, I decided to go ahead and go into this because I didn't really feel like going for full-on standard and tank down for a lot of these. Now, this is generally a good idea, except for the fact that my last piece Karin is absolute fucking trash, and my A-Lots went first. Now, because he went first, we just took a 50-50 shot right here. One, we killed Ran, but then that follow-up attack could have gone into either Savior Adin, or it could have gone into Roana. Thankfully, it went into Roana, and because it didn't go into Savior Adin, then she didn't push herself up on the CR bar, because whenever she dodges, she does that shit, and she shouldn't attack with an AoE attack, with, like, the counter attack, because it wasn't a direct attack, it was an additional attack. Hey, look, we're already done. Woo! And now, on to the second fight. So, this has, and will always be my favorite format to go into. It's a Conqueror Lilias, it's a Rimuru, and literally any unit. The thing in which that I always do is I'll take turn 2 on Sinful Angelica, use S3, this will buff my 2 backline units, and then Zahhak will go in. It does not matter, we're just going to go into the other unit. So in this case, it's going to be ae-KARINA. So then this procs the Rimuru. Rimuru is then going to go into Zahhak. He has invincibility, but he's going to steal attack and speed. Now because of that, he'll then go into Krau. Because Rimuru is a green unit, he is hard programmed to go into blue units first, even though his S3 has neutral is like neutral advantage. Or it's just, it's element neutral. Which basically means that if you do not have a blue unit with you, then he will go into any unit of his choice, and with the basic AI of a character, they will go into whoever has the lowest HP. And quite frankly, you don't want that. That is the very reason as to why I always use Krau going into these formats. Is anytime I see Rimuru, I immediately go for Krau. Just because I also have Holy Sack on him as well. So with Holy Sack Krau, I'm straight up never worried about actually taking enough damage from a Rimuru to die from it. And bam, just order of operations your way through, and then you're eventually done. Now, we're going to fight the exact same team yet again. Except the only difference is now going to be a Mercedes instead of an ae-KARINA. Literally the same thing is going to happen. So, Conqueror Lilias goes, does her 2 things. Fuck this character. I hate Conqueror Lilias with a passion. Then we'll go ahead and go in with Sinful Angelica, S3, cleanse off our debuffs that are on our other 2 units, buff them, and then Zahhak is going to go next. Right here, we use S3, and we're going to deal as much damage as humanly possible, or possibly straight up kill, preferably kill the Mercedes. Now, because we have immortality on Sinji, the Mercedes does not revive. Now, this procs the Rimuru, he goes in, then eventually goes into Krau, right here does big amounts of damage, and here's like your deciding factor on who you want to go into. Now, with Krau, if you have the option, you can either go into Conqueror or Lilias, or you can go into Rimuru. If Rimuru has crit resist, then you can just choose to go straight up into the Conqueror Lilias, because you will do the most damage with Zahhak on the following turn. Now, if he does not have crit resist, if you want to, you can always just go into Rimuru as well with Krau. It's entirely your choice. That's just like the big thing that I usually follow whenever I do it. And now, oh hey look, it's Nahkwol, one of the most fucking annoying characters in the entire fucking goddamn game. So, there is another method of which you can fight this team with, and it's with Helen, of all things, a 3-star blue knight with Ancient Dragon's Legacy. The only problem as to why I'm not utilizing that format is because I am not fast enough to actually do it. You have to have really, really fast speed gear on your Helen to do that, and then 2 other units on your team that you're going to be, resetting their cooldowns with. So instead, we're just going to go for a basic dodge team. So the big thing that we're going to be doing here is, unfortunately, we got a few dodges at the start, and this actually was kind of detrimental in this sense, because it set off my Savior Adin, and then it did enough damage to the rest of the team to then, push up the ae-KARINA. Then the ae-KARINA could just straight up go into her and kill. And also because artifacts are fucking stupid, the Nahkwol just going in, even though she missed, the artifact provided a death break to Savior Adin. So, with that being said, even though the ae-KARINA did miss going into the Savior Adin, she was fucking dead. Ain't no way you're surviving against a S3 splash damage hit from an ae-KARINA and Rocket Punch with Death Break. But either way, we were able to go in. We got ourselves more than enough dodges that we really needed. The biggest thing that needed to happen was the Alencia needed to go, and then eventually the Nahkwol needs to go. Thankfully, we were able to get enough dodges on Violet, and the Nahkwol is dead. Now that you've dealt with those 2 units, all you have left is ae-KARINA, and it is quite literally 100% victory. It doesn't matter even if Savior Adin and Fat Cat were to die. If it's just down to ae-KARINA, she's not going to do excessive amounts of damage to Violet, because he's going to always dodge her, but he will take a decent amount of damage, but you should still 100% win that. And oh wow, boys, that's it. Super, super clean and very, very easy victory. Hoorah! But yeah, with that being said, oh yeah, hey Lucent, why didn't you make the commentary video the next day or any of that other jazz? Well, the biggest reason as to why was I didn't fucking want to. It's like, yeah, no shit. I just was straight up... Because, like, there's no real hiding it as of right now, guys. It seems as if the morale in the Epic 7 community and just in the game in general is critically low right now. And I can understand why. And a lot of people are, like, really up in arms and, like, going absolutely apeshit crazy over, like, the Elvira thing right now. But honestly, I'm not entirely doom and gloom about it, especially if you really go back and think of some of the earlier stuff that we were through. Like, I know a lot of people don't really want to go back and remember older things that were happening or the older metas that we went through. Like, this current meta fucking sucks, and I hate it. But the older stuff, you guys remember when, like, SSB was a popular unit? Like, you remember when Seaside Bologna was actually, like, the fucking thing that was in every single defense and was like the most prevalent and the most oppressive thing ever? That was actually worse than what we're doing now. And the only thing that I would say, in my honest opinion, that like SG and Super Creative really needs to do in terms of like making me a little happier for matchups and things of that nature, stuff that needs to be added into the game besides, you know, like an actual counter to injury, like let us heal injury somehow, fucking please, oh my god, holy shit. But like the big thing that I just want more hard counters. Like just straight up, just more hard counters. Units that exist for the sole purpose of countering a mechanic of the game. That's what I want. I want more characters that can meet that niche of the quote-unquote hard counter. But I don't really have a lot of time to really talk about an example like that because we're out of time for the video. So hey, if you guys like this stuff, go on ahead and leave a like. And if you want to see more of my stuff, go on ahead and hit subscribe. Ring-a-ding-ding.